Please help us welcome to the stage the U.S. Secretary of Education, Arne Duncan.
Good afternoon. Before I begin, can we give another huge round of applause to Senator Wofford for all of his leadership right here. I just have to say personally, he is an absolute inspiration to me. We all work every day to try and make a difference. He's lived a life of extraordinary service, of extraordinary impact. And if we had more leaders, whether they be political leaders or civic leaders or just more people who had his heart and his passion and his commitment to helping others, our nation would be much, much stronger. So, Senator, I want you to know how much I appreciate your leadership and the example you set for all of us. Thank you so much. I'll be very brief. I think the last thing you want on a Friday afternoon is an hour-and-a-half lecture. I don't think that would go over too well. I just want to say thanks to all of you for being the leaders that you are. And whether you're the adults who are creating these opportunities for our young people in schools, in communities, service learning coaches, whether the young people themselves here are doing remarkable work, what you guys are doing is helping to lead our country where we need to go. I am passionate about service. I'm passionate about service learning. When I started working for the Chicago Public Schools back about 15 years ago, literally my first job was to put in place the service learning requirement for the district. And we put in place a 40-hour requirement. There was lots of controversy at the time. Not every student was happy about that requirement. Not every parent was happy about that. What we saw quickly is some of the students who thought they were most unhappy about having to do 40 hours of additional service, they did not 40, but they did 200 and 300 and 400. One young man did 4,000 hours of service. And we just saw the transformative impact that the chance to serve had. And what had bothered me all my life is that historically public school students were the recipients of service and private school students were the givers of service. And something about that didn't seem right to me. Before I joined the Chicago Public Schools, I ran a small nonprofit in the south side of Chicago. My sister and I ran an I Have a Dream program, where for 6 years, from 1992 to 1998, our job every single day was to help a group of sixth graders, and we'd stay with them every year, not just graduate from high school, but go on to college. And we worked in a very tough community. The class ahead of ours had about a 67% dropout rate from the local high school, and our students, our 40 students, ended up having an 87% graduation rate. So same community, same families, same challenges, same poverty, same violence, but a very different set of opportunities. And yes, we worked very, very hard on the academic side and reading and math and enrichment, but we spent a huge amount of time helping to provide opportunities for our students to do service. So we planted a community garden in a neighborhood that mostly was known for its vacant lots. We went from that to planting trees along Drexel Boulevard. Drexel Boulevard happened to be one of the gang boundaries in the community. And one of our students came up to me and asked, he was very worried about this, not about his safety. He was worried that the gang members were going to pull up our trees. And I hadn't thought about that issue. So we talked about it some, and I thought the gang leaders probably had other things to do than pull up our trees. We planted those trees. No one bothered us, and those trees are still there to this day. We worked in the local soup kitchen, and one of our students served food to her father in the soup kitchen. And we talked about what that meant and those dynamics and what that was about. And as the students were going to the senior year, we ended up actually building a house with a student builders program on one of those vacant lots. And rather than the stereotype of teenagers throwing bricks through windows and knocking things down, it was amazing to see how many adults would stop and watch and be in awe of what young people were doing, not to tear something down, but to build it up. And it was nothing that me or my sister or any of our staff did. We were simply creating opportunities for students to learn and to grow and to demonstrate their leadership skills. I think the challenge for all of us is to make this the norm rather than the exception. And just as you go to class to learn math, just as you go to class to learn English or go to PE or to go to art, having the chance to serve, to develop your skills, to see the impact you can have in a community, that should be a normal part of growing up. That should be a normal part of what it means to be a teenager in our country. And you guys are helping us lead us to that point. when I look at the service learning awardees here and I speak at other conferences like this, it's amazing to me how many of the award winners were told by adults that it was impossible to do what they were doing, that it couldn't be done. And you guys were young enough and stubborn enough and smart enough to keep moving and to prove to the world what's possible. I worry a lot about our dropout rate. I think so many of our young people drop out today not because school is too hard, but one, it's too easy, and two, they don't see the relevance. And if you can tie geometry to building something in the community, if you can tie an academic subject to helping to end homeless, to helping to challenge the AIDS crisis, to figuring out how you feed more people in the community, young people know why they're coming to school every single day. And so it's not either or, it's always both and. We have these false debates. And so when real civic engagement, real civic learning, real academic content, when those things come together, it is magical both for teachers and it is magical for students because they know why they're in school. They know why they're learning, and they know why they are a leader at a very young age. So for all the service learning coaches, for all the adults here who are helping to create these opportunities, please stand and give them a round of applause. And as much as I am passionate about this, as much as I'd like to talk about it, you guys are providing the real leadership. And just as our students need food, and they need water, and they need to be safe, and they need to be cared for, they need opportunities to serve. They need opportunities to find their passion. They need opportunities to understand how powerful they are at 10 and 12 and 13 and 15 years old. And it doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor or black or white or what your family, where you live or what your family has or doesn't have. Every single young person in this nation has an opportunity to serve, to make a difference, and get a sense of the bigger world out there. To all of our students here who are leading this movement, could you guys please stand and please give them a huge round of applause? I haven't met many of you obviously yet, but if you guys could run for Congress tomorrow, I would vote for you. I would vote for all of you. And I don't know anything about your political beliefs, and frankly, I don't care about your political beliefs. What we need to show is young people coming together, again, across race and class, across ideology, across socioeconomic barriers, and solving real problems in the community. And if Congress could take a lesson from what some of you guys are doing back home in your schools, in your communities, our country would be much better served. We have folks here in Washington, frankly, that have become pretty dysfunctional, that aren't able to find common ground, that aren't able to solve problems together. And I think our children and our nation deserve something better. And so the kinds of things that you're doing, the idea of national service becoming the norm, I'm a huge fan of AmeriCorps. I'm a huge fan of programs like City Years. You guys get older. And when I walk into schools and you have a school full of those young men and women from very diverse backgrounds in those red jackets, that sends a profound message to the community that they are cared for, that they are valued, and that a set of adults are willing to give up so much because they believe in their potential. So for those of you that are 12, 13, 14, 15, you're just starting on this journey, think about what you're doing not just through high school, think about what you're going to do in college, and think about what you're going to do beyond that. And if you can stay the course for all the challenges we face, for all the adult dysfunction we have now in Washington, I'm actually very, very optimistic. And I'm not optimistic about what I'm going to do or the other adults here or what the senator's going to do over the next 88 years of his life. I'm optimistic because you guys are going to help lead the country to where we need to go. So thank you so much for your leadership. Thank you for your service. Thank you for being extraordinary role models. Last thing I'll say, for the young people here that was so profound when I was working back with my kids back in Chicago, you have no idea how much of an impact you have on your younger brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews and other kids on the block 8, 9, 10 years old. And we can talk all we want about living the right way. They listen to that, but they watch what we do. They check whether we are walking the walk. And what you guys are doing, not just to help your community, but to be an example for that next generation coming up behind you. Don't ever forget what an extraordinary role model you are now. So thank you so much. Whatever me and my team can do to be good partners, we want to do it. but I couldn't mean this more seriously. You are helping to lead the country where we need to go, and I thank you for that commitment, and I thank you for your service. Thank you so much.